Hi, welcome to It Doesn't Have to Be Terrible with me, Snyder, a podcast where we explore the financial stories, topics, and questions that help us as individuals better understand how we impact and are impacted by the financial world around us. We're mixing it up a little bit today. We're going to try something a little more casual. This is often where I'm sitting when I am not with clients, by the way. We're in my office right now. So I want to talk about something that I consider like a squishy financial topic. So something that's more on the emotional side. Something going on in my life as it relates to finances. A tip that you can walk away with that is going to save you money or earn you money or optimize your money in some way. And then I think just like something random that's in the news that's top of mind for me. And actually today, this squishy financial topic is sort of related to the personal finance thing that's top of mind for me. My husband and I bought this house, oh my God, like 2 years ago, like on the dot, 2 years ago. And it's an old house. It was built in the 1930s. Was in like pretty good shape when we bought it. Like no major, that's not true. We had some plumbing and electrical needs from the get-go. But it wasn't like a fixer-upper that we bought. That being said, the kitchen has not been updated. I don't know when the last time it was updated. Maybe the 70s, maybe. I think some history on this house would be helpful for you to know as I ramble about it. Built in the 1930s, was a nunnery. Is that the right word? Whatever. Nuns lived in this house until about 7 years ago. And then a young family bought it, lived in it for about 5 years, and then we bought it. So it's obviously haunted with a bunch of, I think, benign dead nuns. The House of the Haunted Nuns has this kitchen that needs love. It needs a lot of love. And my husband and I, when we bought the house, we were like, okay, we want to redo this kitchen. We want to save for it. We're just to do it all cash. We don't want to go into debt. We don't want to have a HELOC. We don't want to spend money on the interest. And it's going to be totally reasonable because this is livable for quite a few years. And we did the math. And we're like, wow, we spend oodles of money on childcare. We're like, well, if we just wait until one of them is in public school, or even two of them are in public school, and we save how much we've been spending on daycare, we're going to save up for this kitchen in no time, which is absolutely still true. And I love thinking that kind of way when it comes to finances because it is much more motivating for me to be able to save when I was already spending that money before. And then the cabinets started falling apart. And then we needed to replace the oven. And now the dishwasher is like hanging on by a thread. And the fridge door, one of them won't stay open because the floor underneath is wonky. So you open the door and it just like attacks you immediately. Anyway, the kitchen is going downhill. So we've considered moving up our timeline. I don't have a solution for the finances yet, other than like do a better job of saving, Caroline. Just being completely honest. And then on top of that, our windows are from 1934 or whenever this house was built. Sometimes it feels like just not having windows at all because they're so old. So in the summer, brutal heat wave. Like worst summer of my life by like a wide margin. You'd walk past a window and just be like smacked in the face with heat and humidity. And now it's cold, which is, it's real cold. I wore a coat today. You walk past the doors or the windows and it's like frigidly cold. And then on top of that, our stupid heater downstairs decided that it wasn't going to work yesterday. So now we have heater people coming later today. The point is, it's an old house and it's expensive, and we continuously have things pop up that don't feel like emergencies, like we have to deal with them immediately. The heater thing is an emergency. We do have to deal with that immediately. We'll spend whatever stupid amount of money it is to fix it. Yesterday, our children were home from school because it was parent-teacher conference day. Babysitter was taking care of them in the afternoon, and they were in the playroom in the back, and both kids were wearing their full-on winter coats. And the babysitter was sitting on one of the like little children chairs, and she's got like a blanket over her. Anyway, we're going to spend whatever it costs to fix the heater. But so many of the other things feel like things that you could like keep putting off, right? Like we don't have to renovate the kitchen immediately. We don't have to replace the windows immediately. These sort of decisions are really complicated, right? Like there's a financial aspect of all of these. Like, do we have the money set aside for this purpose, and are we cool using it right now? Or are we going to finance any of this? In which case, how much does it really cost, and are we comfortable with that? If we're going to renovate the kitchen, do we need to be out of the house? We have 2 little kids. I have really bad allergies. One of my kids has really bad allergies. And so there's like the logistical aspect. And then there's this emotional aspect. Truthfully, like what I want to do is just say, we're going to spend all of the money and just do this as fast as possible, because that's the way my brain works. And I just want to rip the Band-Aid and be done with it. And that's probably not a good choice in reality. And then I fight with myself and my brain and being like, but maybe it is a good choice. Maybe we should just do that. This is something that comes up with clients all the time, and I'm very good at doing it with clients, and it's so much harder when it's your own stuff. But in almost every financial question, right? Like, do we renovate now? Do we not? Do we replace windows now? Do we not? Do we wait and do everything all at once? All of those have financial answers where there are probably like 2 or 3 pretty good options. There's probably some options that are not a good idea. Like I can tell you right now, we don't have enough cash set aside to just pay for this all out up front and like do it right now. So like that's not an option. But there are probably several reasonable financial options as far as the numbers go. But then there's this like squishy gut decision, emotional aspect that I think is so often ignored. Like most people when making financial decisions are either focusing entirely on the numbers side and make a decision that's like, well, this is the logical decision, so this is what it is. Or they make a decision being like, I don't get the numbers, I'm not going to worry about the numbers, or I don't want to, or whatever it is, and I'm just going to make a decision based on how I feel. And like so many things in life, the best answer is somewhere in between, right? Like here are 3 good options according to the numbers. And of these 3 options, this one is the one that feels the squishiest. They all feel squishy. This is the squishy one that feels the best. Like we probably should just do the windows. It's going to help with allergies. It's going to help with utility costs. It's like the right thing to do for the environment. It would help with resale if for some reason we need to sell the house. Helps with the winter. Helps. Like there's basically only pros on the window side. And because it's not something that feels exciting to me, I'm not that, like I just don't want to do it, even though it's the right thing to do. You can be my accountability buddy and be like, did you do the math, Caroline? And did it make sense? And then what made the most sense? And then I'll follow up with you. I also think we're going to have you come along for the ride for this kitchen renovation, because it is the first major house project that Ben and I have ever done. So I think we're going to bring you along for that ride. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be terrible. I think it's going to be both fun and terrible. I think I'm going to hate it. Okay, switching gears. Hot tip. Money hot tip. This is going to save you money. It is getting close to the end of the year, but you can, it's a nun. It's a poncho. Come here, Ponchi. You have until April 15th of next year. Hello, dear. Can you lay down? Yes, I know, I'm telling them. You have until April 15th of next year to put money away in a retirement account for tax purposes. For this year. Oh my goodness, Poncho really messed me up. For your taxes for this year, your 2023 taxes, you can put money in a retirement account until April 15th of 2024, and it counts towards your 2023 taxes, which is awesome because that means if you're working with an accountant or if you're doing like an online system, TurboTax or whatever, you can run the numbers, see how much you potentially owe or you would get as a refund for taxes, and then decide how much you're going to put away for retirement in your IRA or your 401k or your SEP IRA, and then look at the numbers again, and whatever saves you the most money, you can squirrel away. Isn't that cool? Such a good thing. The last thing I wanted to talk about was a piece of news. The news was that the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, that's his name, right? New Speaker of the House, good grief, Poncho, doesn't have a bank account, which is why, like, I don't understand how this man gets paid. He's been being paid by the U.S. government. Does he get it as a check and then cashes it at a bank and then puts the cash where? The logistics of this are mind-blowing. I'm not entirely anti-cash. Everybody should have a bank account so that you can functionally work in society. I really have no desire to talk to Mike Johnson, I think, except that I really want to ask him, like, I don't know, how does he pay for anything? And how does he pay taxes? And does he have a checkbook? And does he use the envelope method? And like, what is his security system at home? Hope it's intense. How did he find a partner who was like on board with this? Are they actually just lying about the whole thing, which also seems nuts because it's for like public disclosure purposes, which you're supposed to do as a member of Congress? I have a lot of questions. And if you're watching this and you're like, I am a grown adult and I don't have a bank account, tell me how. I would love to know this. That's it for me today. Have a lovely rest of your day. As always, I am rooting for you. I hope you're rooting for me too. It would be nice. Please think good thoughts about my heater. And next time you see me, ask me about my windows. See you later. Bye. She's my most consistent coworker. She's a real twat. Have a good one.